darlings, how you all doing? My name is Natural Mystic. Some people call me a ladybug, and my mum and dad, friends and family call me Leash. It's been an interesting week. It's been a very interesting 24 hours, and I thought I needed to come and share. So let me tell you a story. You know, one of them ones there. Are you ready for this? Are ya? Do people smoke on their YouTubes? I don't think they do. I'll be back. Alright, I ain't gonna lie. I might have to smoke through this one, car. This one's a bit deep. For real. I ain't gonna lie. This one is an interesting one. It's a bit of a deep one. Alright, so here goes. Relax, breathe. Okay. So I'm in a WhatsApp group. I won't name it. And on a Friday night we have quiz night. We have a topic of choice that somebody chooses to discuss, and we also have at the end what they might call Freaky Friday, where there's like questions and answer sessions, like multiple choice. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. So there's multiple choice, and I was on the call just listening, partaking a little bit here and there. Got some stuff on my mind, so it was just a distraction technique. I received a phone call towards the end of the call, the Zoom call that is. So I received a mobile phone call on the end of the Zoom call. So I had the Zoom in the background, I was listening, and I was kind of keeping an eye on the survey while I was talking to a good friend of mine. And I happened to open my tablet, and the question that popped up, which has prompted me to do this recording, was, when did you lose your virginity? Now, it's a trigger question for me. Let's just keep it real. It's an actual trigger question. I look a bit discombobulated as always, but you know, this is how we do. And I don't really know how to answer that question. I've never known how to answer that question. So I have broken the question into two parts. When did you lose your virginity? Or when is generally the question, all right? So I've broken it into two parts, like I've said. So the first part of the question is, when was your virginity taken? And when did you choose to give your virginity to someone or break it with someone? So for me, like I said, it's a two-part question. So if I answer the first part of the question, it would be, I didn't choose to lose my virginity when it was taken. So when a survey like that pops up, how do you answer? Because the options were, you know, below 16 or 16-ish, or you know, waited till you were married, was it one night stand, was it drunk, that sort of thing. So people automatically assume you were either a teenager or somewhat near adulthood, and I weren't, is where I'm going with this, hence why it's a two-part question for me. So my virginity was taken when I was a child, way below 16, not through choice. And if someone was to ask me when I then chose to then break my virginity or give it to someone or lose it to somebody, I'm not sure of the terminology there, I was in my early teens. So it's led me to sort of, do a bit of research. I don't like this top either. Do a bit of research into myself, and how that's affected relationships that I've had as an adult, and it definitely has impacted. Although I would never really have admitted that until right now, to be honest. Child abuse was something for me that I'd really put at the back of my mind, way, way at the back of my mind. I'd never forgotten it, but it wasn't something that I needed to talk about. It wasn't something that I felt like I needed healing from. So I've kind of made an assumption that my mum and dad at the time, they're still with me, they're still alive, my mum and dad at the time must have done a pretty good job, is what I want to say, at nurturing me through those moments, or that moment, because I was quite young, so I don't really remember I don't really remember much afterwards, I'll be honest. I think there's sort of a brief conversation of some sort. I don't know how they really did find out. Again, quite sketchy. But I think it was maybe the language that I was using, as in the vocabulary, not as in like bad language, curse words. I think it was the vocabulary I was using at an age maybe that a child or a small child shouldn't be using those sorts of words. So that may have prompted them to be more wary at certain times, I would say. And I think they kind of put two and two together and literally came up with the right answer. And I may have reaffirmed it one way or another. I can't really remember. And this is the part where I think that, like the traumatic side, the PTSD or whatever you want to call it, has kind of created a bit of a mind block. So I don't know if anybody's experienced any sort of trauma, like a car accident or, again, abuse or rape or domestic violence. Sometimes there are windows that are black. You just can't see through them. You kind of forget information because of the amount of hormones and nerves and adrenaline and things that are going through. I think for me, my brain misfired. It did. I think it misfired a few times where things are a bit sketchy, but they happened. Because I've spoken to my parents or my mum also, as I've got older. And there were reasons for those conversations to come up, if you know what I mean, in that sense. So that's where I wasn't like reassured, but it was confirmed that my memories were correct, basically. So if I was to then discuss when I chose to give that part of myself to somebody, like I said, I was in my early teens, and I do think that there was, and there still had been up until quite very recently in my life, a lack of worth. My body wasn't mine from a very early age, so it didn't feel like I was giving anything special to anyone at any point. So I don't know how to answer that question when people kind of ask it, sometimes in jest. I don't know whether to just laugh along. I don't know whether to tell the truth. I don't want to scare people with the truth. I don't want it to be, oh, I'm so sorry, and then it be a pity party. So I left the Zoom call when I saw that question. I didn't answer the question. I just left the Zoom call because I was on a phone call, and that was much more positive and productive and helps me into a better space rather than thinking about that. But then even putting the phone down, I've now had to do this recording because it's made me question myself. It's made me question, and this is what I do. If the question is raised and it's got something to do and it's with my emotions or my life, I find it a lot easier to document or to talk. But it doesn't mean that I need to share it with anybody else, because I'm very much that horrible phrase that I don't like to use, independent woman now. So that's why when I say that it's affected relationships and whatnot, I've pretty much kind of been single for nearly sort of 8 years. I've seen a few people here and there on and off, but again, it was that self-worth. And I'll record that maybe in a different recording. And what made me realise that I need to stop giving my body away, or parts of me in general, but mind, body and soul, if that makes sense. Well, not, but yeah, let's keep it real. There were elements of soul selling, yeah, to try and get what it is I wanted, I suppose. But what did I want, ultimately? Again, I think I'd do that in a different recording. So yeah, that was what I wanted to say. Yeah, it's been a warm day. I'm feeling a little bit, and this subject has kind of not rattled me, but it's yeah. So I'm writing a book. I'm keeping it to myself, if you know what I mean, well, like the content, but I'm writing a book. So these kinds of recordings and memories and things that creep up are good to document, because it's all going to be contributing to my portfolio, my body of work, I suppose. And it's healing, and somebody may learn something from it. I don't like to go into statistics and quote other people and that sort of thing very often. I definitely come from a place of internal searching, questioning, analysing, and then kind of put it out there and then watch it back, and then, you know what I mean, that sort of thing. So yeah, like I said, I tend to do different parts. So this potentially is just sort of part one as to about the sort of virginity, relationship, interaction type thing. So I'm not sure if you will enjoy this or not, really, but if you do watch it, then ask yourself that question as well, really, innit? If you've ever been in the sort of situation that I've kind of described, how do you answer that question? When did you lose your virginity? Is it different for boys? Are they kind of proud of it? And again, maybe I'll have to go speak to some men to find out their view, and like how they get asked that question, and do they answer that question? And is that a man-woman thing? Got so many questions. So yeah, I'll be back. So like, as they say, subscribe. That'd be nice. See a few more numbers. I'm a bit quirky. But I'm an empath. So sometimes this stuff takes a while to work out. It's levels. There's levels to my depth. I'm more than a puddle. But I don't want to be as mysterious and as deep as the ocean. Do you know what I mean? That sort of endless depth. It's a bit murky down there, isn't it? That was a tangent, a distraction moment for myself to stop doing this now. So thank you for watching. I am Natural Mystic, and I am bouncing back. Stay tuned, or look out for the next video, really, next recording. And this is also a podcast, so if you'd like to listen and not look, you can find me on SoundCloud and on Spotify. And it's the same. I am Natural Mystic on both. I am Natural Mystic. Natural is spelled N-A-T-R-E-L. That's N-A-T-R-E-L. Mystic, M-Y-S-T-I-C. Yeah, and that's the wind. It's very warm. It's been a couple of warm days and it's quite warm tonight, so that's a little bit of background noise from my balcony. And for those of you who are not in the UK, it's like an outdoor indoor patio, a covered area with some fresh air outside sort of thing. What do you not call that abroad? Is it a balcony as well? Okay, I digress. Thank you one and all. Peace, love, blissful, abundant protection. Rastafari. Namaste.